Breaking the silence, taking the dive in. Nikki pulling strings like she playing the violin. Made in his likeness, radiant vibrance. Give them all glory, ain't no way to deny it. She gon' make you laugh, she gon' stimulate your mind. Making things shake, she ain't in no wasting time. They can come close, but can't imitate the grind. Got a different way to illustrate and innovate designs. BTS podcast, gotta watch that. Teaching us the game, that mean Nikki got class. If you watch it once, you gon' wanna stop back. This an opportunity that you cannot pass. Unleash your inner voice, cause better days coming. Better days, get ready for better days. Better days, better days. Better days, get ready for better days. Better days, better days.
Whew, y'all. I had to get my face ready for this episode, y'all. Cause look, all in the wells of my eyes, I'm like, Lord, I feel the tears coming, y'all. I feel the tears coming. But listen, today's episode, I know y'all like, I done seen her up here meeting one times, but today is a special episode. I've been trying to get her to tell this story for a very long time, y'all. A very long time. By the time y'all see this episode, I'm gonna say this, it's pre-recorded because I need y'all to know this. By the time y'all see this episode, it's gonna be the last episode of the year. But we are recording it on the anniversary. I had to make that known because listen, I don't know how deep it's gonna go. I don't know how emotional I'm gonna get up here. But my sis Shera Renee is here to tell her story about her losing her child and how what that experience meant for her. And yeah, so this is gonna be a serious one. We might not laugh on this one. So if we don't laugh on this one, don't feel no type of way. But after her countdown, y'all know how it goes. Please welcome her back to the platform once again. Look, I'm gonna need you to take some more pictures.
Sure, I'm looking at these pictures like, ooh, sis was cute. Oh, now I look like the Grinch when he was trying to get ready for the party.
We can't help it, y'all. I told y'all we weren't gonna laugh, but look, we can't help it. We can't help it. You gotta take some pictures after she dropped baby boy for real.
Oh,
Okay, so before we begin, how are you feeling about sharing this story today?
I mean, it's been 6 years, 6 or 7 years. So it's every year gets easier to move forward. I'm not gonna say forget because you never forget, right? But every year it gets easier to talk about. It gets easier to move forward, and you kind of got to realize you can't stay in that place because once you stay in a dark place, it's hard to get out of that place. And God has blessed me with not one, but two after, so I can't afford to dwell and stay in a sad place. I got to keep living, keep striving, and continue to do things that I would feel that would make my daughter proud.
But I really wanted your story when you had me to watch Sisters, the new season.
Oh yeah.
That right there kind of like struck a nerve because that baby could have been saved. Had they had did the right thing at the right moment, that baby would have been living. So it kind of, I was like, sis really got to give me the story for real. She really had to tell me how that felt because a lot of people have never been through having, a miscarriage. They don't know what it's like. They don't know how it feels. Like me, I've never been through it. I don't know how that feels. Not even sad. That's like having a death of a child. That is what it is.
Yeah.
A death of a child. So I don't think personally you can ever really get over that. Like it's something that's going to be brewing forevermore. What if this or what if that? But I guess God has his reasons for doing certain things in people's lives, but that had to be a hard pill to swallow. So what did that loss mean to you in that moment? And how has that meaning changed over a period of time, especially after having 2 more children after?
Okay, so let me give you the backstory. Everybody knows, if you follow me, you know about my 16-year-old. Everybody knows about Christian. That's the Facebook baby. Everybody knows about him. Married his dad. Unfortunately, we were young. We didn't really, we weren't really supposed to get married. We wasn't mentally mature, nowhere near ready to get married, right? So we ended up divorcing, separating, whatever you want to call it. And then I ended up meeting my second husband at the time. We got together. We was together for about a year, maybe a year and a half. And then we decided to get married. And he was a pastor. And that's a whole nother uh, conversation, but I'll save that for later day. He was a pastor, so everything has to be a certain way, by the book and all that other stuff. So immediately, I kid you not, we got married in June. I found out I was pregnant in about August, July, something like that. End of July, early August. So we're excited, we talked about kids and different things like that. He had two, I had the one, prior to this pregnancy. And we were excited. We were both hoping it was a girl. We took the blood test because nowadays, when I had Christian, you had to wait till you were 20 to 22 weeks before you could find out if you were having a girl or a boy, gender reveal, whatever, anatomy scan, that's what they call it. But when I got pregnant in 2018, in 10 weeks, you could do a blood test and then they could just let you know what you're having, if it's a girl or boy. I was like, really? So, to our surprise, we found out that we were having a girl and we were excited. We were excited because we both wanted a girl. We both had boys and we were getting prepared for that. Didn't really announce it because, it was still fresh and we wanted to wait a little bit or whatever the case may be. And about 22 weeks, I want to say that's about 4.5 months. That Tuesday we went, it was November. That Tuesday we went to the doctor. At a certain time of your pregnancy, the doctor just checks the baby's heartbeat, checks your vitals, and then you get out of there. Baby's heartbeat was fine, so they said, right? And then 2 days later, November 14th, they say, I feel some pain, right? I go to the bathroom, I feel like I gotta pee, and it's a whole bunch of just like blood and stuff in the water. And I'm feeling cramping and all this other stuff. So we go to the hospital and they do like a service check and all that stuff. And then they said, we found fetal membranes. So that means they found pieces of the baby inside, right? So I kid you not, that was the last words that I heard. Everything after that was completely numb. I can't tell you what happened after the time we left or whatever the case may be. But once they said fetal membranes, my husband at the time, he just went off ballistic. Like, what do you mean? How can we go from having a good doctor's appointment 2 days prior to now getting into this situation? So he leaves the room and they end up telling me, you got to push her out because at 22 weeks, she was already weighing a pound. So technically it's not, it's a difference between miscarriage and stillbirth. And I think they were calling it a stillbirth. So I guess that means when you give birth to a baby that's no longer, alive or whatever. So imagine me in the hospital preparing to deliver a baby that is no longer breathing, right? So I'm holding the nurse's hand and I'm holding the doctor's hand and I'm still just hearing that fetal membrane. I'm just still hearing that and sobbing and crying and all of this because as a mom or just me in general, I think, well, what did I do? Was it something that I did? Did I turn a certain way? Did I get up wrong? You know what I mean? You automatically blame yourself. And then I'm looking, knowing that my husband really wanted a girl and I wanted a girl. I disappointed him because now we don't have this girl anymore. And what are we going to do? So we pushed the baby out. I pushed the baby out. and they put the baby in like this box, not a box, but it was this container that they put the babies in when they pass. And they said, "Mom, do you want to hold the baby?" Now, a lot of people, they're strong, because I've seen a lot of people on TikTok share these moments, and I can imagine. So I can't imagine like people being on TikTok and sharing that moment and being fully present in this moment emotionally, so many emotions going on, and you have, I don't want to say the nerve, but you have the strength to record this, right? And then you have the strength to sit there and hold a baby that is no longer alive, and you bond with the baby, right? So for me personally, I was not strong enough to do that. Had my husband been in the room, maybe we could have experienced that together. But since I was by myself, I decided not to do that. I decided to um, leave my impression of her how I would just imagine it to be, like how I would imagine her to look, as opposed to that being the last visual that I see. Because I think that would have messed me up even more, and the process would have took even longer had I actually held her, seen her, and then the membranes. I don't know what that means, what that looked like. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want that to be my last thought. So I'm in this room and I'm sobbing again because I just went through a whole labor and delivery. And I'm looking over to this container and I'm looking at my daughter's in there, but she's not coming home with me. So to be able to wake up in the morning, pregnant, excited because we're having a girl, to ending the day crying because the same girl is no longer inside me anymore. We're separated. And now we're going to completely be separated for forever. It was like a complete emotional like experience, right? So after that, she stayed in there for a while. And then I was just praying and crying and praying and crying because it was just me. It was my mother, no friends, no husband. He was dealing with it and processing it in his own way. And I just remember praying to God and just said, "God, help me get through this because you're the only one that's going to help me get through this." A lot of the times when people go through stuff, they detach from God. They get mad at God. They get angry at God. But me, that experience drew me closer because I knew that He would be the only one to help keep me sane. He would be the only one to help me move forward and give me some strength back to get back to where I needed to be in a healthy capacity and not just slip and lose my mind completely. So losing her in that moment, I felt sad. I felt depressed, emotional, obviously, um, disappointed. I felt like I disappointed everyone. And um, now, being 6 years later, I feel like everything happens for a reason. And quiet as kept, my relationship or marriage at the time wasn't the greatest. There was a lot of stress put on me. I wasn't able to rest the way I wanted to rest. I had to work. I was tired. So I was doing things that kind of didn't set me up for a healthy pregnancy on top of that. I didn't have the proper medical team to do their due diligence because after having Christian, I got pregnant again with his by his father, and then we decided to terminate that pregnancy. And they told me after losing my daughter, once you decide to terminate a pregnancy, that could or could not affect your cervix. So them knowing that I had a termination beforehand did not do their due diligence to check my cervix to make sure it was strong enough to hold this little girl in. Then they decide after the fact, now they want to do their due diligence, right? So just being mindful now and doing the research on any and everything that I decide to do, because you might be your only advocate. You know, when you're going through things, a lot of people don't have help, they don't have villages. So you have to do your due diligence to make sure that you're covered and you know personally what's going on. And you're not just saying, okay, yes, or whatever. That's just like church. You go to church and you listen to the pastor and he sound good. Sounding good and being right is two different things. So you got to make sure that you, as the Bible says, you study to show thyself approved. You do your own research to know that what he's saying is just not his opinion, because people can put their opinions in there. So it just taught me to just be more um, mindful, be more vocal when I feel a certain way, demand rest, demand the things that I know I deserve in the moment that I deserve it.
Whew. Listen. So you said they gave you a box with her in it.
It was like you know how when you actually have the baby and then the babies come in like this clear, they put the babies in the clear, the
They're
little
like the
clear,
incubators.
not an incubator, but it was like the clear thing that they put the babies in where you could see the baby and all that
Yeah.
stuff. When you go through like a miscarriage or a stillbirth, it's not open, it's closed. So it's
Mm.
another type of, it's not a basket, but it looks like a basket shape, but it's another type of contraption that they put the babies in. So everything is closed. You don't see it, but you know that's final. It is just, it's just,
So so you don't regret not being able to hold her and look at her and see her. But you know
no.
what? I'm with you though with the membranes.
Yeah, I'm not,
Not
yeah.
really sure of what that meant either. That would have
Mm-hmm.
probably freaked me out too because
Mm-hmm.
to me that sounds like pieces.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know if that's what it is, but I probably would have
Mm-hmm.
been fearful too. But
But when you say like fetal membranes, to me, when I heard it, I thought she was chopped up. Like
right.
she was chopped up. So why are you asking me to hold a baby that's chopped up? But now that time has passed, fetal membranes could be anything. It could be the placenta,
Hmm.
not having any oxygen to give to the baby. So the
Hmm.
baby might have been whole, but the pieces around the baby, maybe
Right.
the cord or the placenta, like I said, all of that stuff might have been, you know, chopped up or whatever the
Chopping.
case may be. But no, I didn't want to hold her because I did not want that to be my last memory.
Mm.
I rather, and that's just the type of person I am. I'm very, um, I don't want to say animated or like Disney-fied. I hang on to my imagination as much as I can. So I rather keep what I think she may have looked like
Mm.
as opposed to what the reality really was. Because seeing a baby 1 pound is really not the greatest visual to see. They're very tiny, very frail.
Hmm.
And to know that the baby's not moving, I know that I would still feel her, like me holding her. I would probably have dreams about it. And I didn't want to put myself through that emotional turmoil. I just didn't. I couldn't do it. I commend
Wow.
people that do, because a lot of them on TikTok, they be holding them and recording and
Hmm.
crying. And I'm like, how could y'all record that moment? Like certain things should not be on the internet. Like that's a private moment.
But I ain't gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you something. That sister scene when she held that baby was a tearjerker.
But you see the difference between her and I, she had that support.
Yes, she had
Now,
friends
had she
around.
not had that support, she wouldn't have been able to do that either.
Probably
I
not.
didn't have nobody with me. He was in the hallway going through what he was going through. My mom wasn't around. No friends were around. It was just me. So I was like, I don't have the strength. I just exhausted all my strength giving birth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first time I ever did a vaginal. I never had a vaginal birth. All my births were C-sections. And that's draining. So I don't have the energy and the emotional capacity to make this happen. I just can't do it.
But see, me looking at that scene was like me thinking back to when I held my children in my arms for the first time, and they were able to, make a noise or cry or something. So imagining that holding the baby, that's not here,
Yeah.
that's not gonna cry, not gonna do anything. Like I said, that scene right there in itself was a tearjerker, just thinking like that. And
Yeah.
then they have to deal with the aftermath after the fact that that shower's not coming home with you.
Yeah.
So
And
at
to
that
make
moment,
an announcement.
right. So at that moment, did you make, because you remember you said you didn't make an announcement about even, being pregnant. So
Yeah,
now did you
not at
make the
first.
announcement?
We made the announcement that we were pregnant when we found out what she was because we were excited. And then to go from the congratulations to, this to that. And then immediately, I think that night, I I made the announcement and yeah, because it popped up on my memories. And I made the announcement, and it was something along the lines of, if you would have told me that this would have been my last day, feeling you, because as a mom, you feel the kicks, the moves, and stuff. So imagine feeling that same day, and
Mm-hmm.
then pushing her out the next,
And nothing.
and nothing, like no type of movement, nothing. How do we go from full energy to what did we miss? Like how did it go from 0 or 60 to 0 in less than 24 hours, right?
Right.
So yeah, I posted it, and then once you post something, it's like, especially of that magnitude, you don't want to
Mm-hmm.
go back to the phone right away because you already know people gonna call and comment and stuff like that. So I posted it, but I didn't really go through my social media until about maybe 2 days later,
Mm.
because now I have to process this new normal. Everybody calling you, not nobody check on you when you're pregnant, but then when something happen, the baby's here or the baby's not here, your phone blow up. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's calling and texting. And then the craziest part is, I think that happened on a Thursday night. That Monday, I went right back to work. So, and Sunday, like I said, he was a pastor. So Sunday, we're having church, and then you have to be on live and bright-eyed, bushy-tailed after experiencing this. It's like you didn't really have time to. I grieved that night. I did. I cried so much. I cried. I cried. I think I cried myself to sleep. And then the next day, you're getting discharged. You want to put on a face for people because the person picking you up, they're gonna, I'm sorry, I'm this, I'm that, and you're just like, okay. And then people might come over and all that other stuff. And then every time I would get by myself, because I was used to dealing with it by myself, that's when I would break down. In front of people, I was okay. Then when I got to work on Monday, I was like, okay, I think I could go to work. I get to work, it's a card from my job. I worked at Foreman Mills. There's a card at my job. Everybody signed it. And everybody was just expressing their condolences and different things like that. And I was just like, wow. And I had already gotten a crib from my boss and a stroller. So it was like, what do we do with this? Right. To only have a conversation with my husband, and he's like, well, we could try again. Now, as a female, well, again, I can't speak for everybody, but for me, um, my mindset as a wife is like, okay, I dropped the ball, I fumbled it, let me try again. Maybe I could, recreate this and this will be behind us, whatever the case may be. And I'm not thinking about, your body, you're still healing, you're still trying to recoup emotionally, you're still all over the place. Postpartum does not just last a week or two after giving birth. That could be a lifetime thing if you don't handle it the right way. Um, so we found out we were pregnant. This was in November. Found out we were pregnant with baby boy in March. Right, in March. So at this time, it's like, okay, this is our chance. We good. We this, we that. Find out it's not a girl, it's a boy. Total different reaction from my husband. Definitely disconnected after that. He was excited, but when he found out it was a boy, he disconnected. He did not He wanted a girl, and that was it. Like once he found out it was a boy, he's like, I don't know if I could, you know, be there emotionally because, you know, I wanted a girl and now this and that, whatever the case. But at the end of the day, the lesson that was being taught to me then that I didn't get until now was that was my out. That miscarriage, stillbirth, whatever you want to call it, that was my out. That was the time and that was the open door that I needed to remove myself from this situation because there was nothing there to keep me I don't want to say sane, but nothing good was going to grow there. And that was my sign. But because I was so focused on trying to make things right and rewrite things, and sometimes we move ahead of God and things happen. And I'm grateful for my son. But had I known then what I know now, he would not have been here, or at least not from him. He would have came years later when I moved on and I was in a way better place. Because if you don't have time to rest, you got to look at how people treat you when you're pregnant. Look how people treat you when things go bad. Look how people treat you, you know, when you don't have nothing. Like these are the things we need to pay attention to. And we get so caught up with the love word or wanting to be somebody or wanting to have someone to call our own. We don't see the red flags, or we see them, but we paint them pink because we're not trying to stop, you know. And it was a lot of red flags even before we got married. But because I had a point to prove from the first marriage, I wanted to make this one. I'm not getting a divorce this time. Hell or high water, we're going to stay together. And that cost me almost my life.
Girl, I was over there coughing like I don't know what. I said, "Oh, she stopped." So after going through such a major situation, um, what does your day to day look like? Like, especially when you have those moments where it's just you, and it's quiet, nobody else. What does that look like for you day to day?
You know, to be honest, I can admit that I avoid gospel music now because when I was going through that, that was the only thing that pulled me through. Leandria Johnson's Better Days. Um, she also did a cover of what's the name of that song? Be Grateful. She did a cover for that. That was another song that I played. Um, Forever. Um, I forgot the name of the guy who sings that. But the one that said Forever is a long time, that's how long I'll love. That song got me through. And there was a couple of other ones. But gospel music will pull you to a place that no other genre of music will ever pull you into. And to be honest,
Say it again.
I I really avoid gospel music because I know that there are still pieces of that brokenness still there that I haven't released yet. And I can't get myself to grieve that because I am too busy now being a mom to little man and doing this and doing that and pulling, into so when I do get that alone time to myself and I do now when I get by myself, I submit to those moments because I know it has to get out. So it's like a slow leak. I haven't completely, like the balloon hasn't completely bust. It's just like I let a little bit out at a time. Because again, like I said in earlier, if you let out and you stay in that place, you may stay in there for a long time. So I try to slow leak every now and then so I'm not overstimulated and I don't go completely dark.
Wow. So now after experience, some people when things happen in their lives that are like bad or they seem bad, their faith in God starts to like dwindle. And you be like, you know what? Why did God let this happen? So doing these experiences, how was your faith affected? Because you say you avoid gospel music. I love gospel music. You avoid gospel music now, because of it. So how did your faith change and the way you see, yourself as a mother now?
It changed for the better actually, because like I said, those times in the car when I was by myself, it was me and God. That night when I was going through what I was going through, it was me and God. So, sometimes life starts to life and you don't position yourself to give God the first fruits of your day, right? And it's because you're so busy and this, that, and the third, and you got to get this one up and go here and then do that and do that. So sometimes you'll fall asleep and forget to pray. But whenever it comes to my memory, I'll stop exactly what I'm doing and I'll give God his time. And it's made me stronger because I know that it's not the money, it's not the jobs, it's not all of the resources that he's provided for me. He is the ultimate source, and he has allowed me to get through this and move forward. And not only have, of course, I experienced a loss, but now I have um gained a beautiful baby boy, right? Who is amazing in this world. Everybody tells me how sweet he is. He's a good kid. You know what I'm saying? And I know that maybe it wasn't about me at the time. I was just being used at the time because I feel like that was a lesson for my husband as opposed to a lesson for me. I was just being the conduit for him. If you don't get your life right, you're not going to get anything you want, because he checked out. Like him and God he was not, and he was a pastor, so he was not feeling it. But for me, I held on tighter because I knew at the end of the day, um, God doesn't take something if he's not going to give you something greater in return. So I held on to that. And now not only do I have one, but soon to be two beautiful boys, and I'm in a better place and I'm happier. I'm healthier mentally. Um, and I'm able to have this experience. And he blessed me with this wound so I can help someone else. And that's where the podcast started because, we cover up a lot of things and we're beautiful on the inside, but we are broken. We're beautiful on the outside, but we're broken on the inside. And that's where the Blemished Beauty came from, because that was me. Beautiful on the outside, duh, but so broken on the inside because I had a lot of stuff, going on. A lot of Sundays, I would be a shell of myself, but I had to put it together because the camera's on, you know? So I did that because there's a lot of people out there like me. So to avoid them continuing to stay that way like I did, I wanted to create a space where they knew, yeah, it's okay. I'm not where I want to be, but it's time to get up out of there. And because if she can do it, I can do it.
Y'all, I can't believe we made it to the least favorite part of my show. Last question. I ain't cheer up yet.
Right.
She
I
didn't she
mean,
didn't she didn't make me cry yet, y'all. So last question. Gotta make you think a little bit. If you could send one message to other mothers who are maybe silently grieving, you know, or just going through it alone, period. The kind of message that you wish somebody told you, what would you say?
I would say it may not look like it now, but everything is going to work itself out. Um, so many times we'll look at what's in front of us just like a puzzle. If you dump all the pieces in front of you, you'll get overwhelmed, especially if it's like 100-piece puzzle or 200-piece puzzle, whatever it get to be. You'll get overwhelmed. But if you take a moment and breathe and just take one piece at a time, it'll all come together because the puzzle that was given to you, the pieces, they're all there. You just have to take your time and put it together. So take whatever you're dealing with and do self inventory. Why is this happening? Is this happening for you specifically, or is this a message for someone else? and you're just being used in that time frame, as a tool to show them, hey, I can bless you with everything that you want, but if you don't do what you're supposed to do by me, I'll take it all away. So for me, I wish somebody would have just told me, it's not you. He's using you, but this was not for you. This message was not for you. You take this, use the wound that you have personally towards it, and move forward, because you're going to be blessed and be a blessing to others later on.
Ooh, the message is not for me. You said it's for somebody else.
Yeah, because it wasn't about me. This was his desire. He wanted to be married. He wanted to have a daughter. He wanted to have all these things. But how are you treating the people that I've given you? If you're not a good steward over the little things that I give you, why should I give you what you desire? Let me test you with this first. And if you can do right by this, then I'll give you that plus more. Just like Job. He demolished everything that Job had. Job didn't curse him and whatever the case may be. He said, I'm whatever you want. Just like in Coming to America, whatever it is you like whatever it is you see fit to do, go ahead, but I'm not going to curse you. And what did God do? He gave him double for his trouble. And a lot of the times we don't do that. We'll curse God, or we'll just be like, oh, woe is me, or this, I never, and you start talking crazy, and power of life and death is in your tongue, right? So you have to remember in those moments who you are and whose you are. And if he can remove something that you love, he can also replace it with something that you never knew you needed.
Boom.
And that's what my son is.
Yeah, man, he's full of life. Oh my God, y'all, he is so sweet. I've never had a kid in my life to ask me, hey, Auntie Nikki, how are you doing?
And it's not prompted.
He really cares about me.
I don't prompt him. I don't ask. I don't tell him what to say. He speaks from his heart, and that's God using him.
He loves me, y'all. I knew without a shadow of doubt that he loves me. So he is so, y'all, he's so smart. I can ask him how his day been. You know what, Auntie Nikki, I learned this today. I'm like, what you learned today? And he just tell me what he learned. Like, blessing in the sky. I'm telling you. You needed him. You didn't know you needed him. All right, y'all. Y'all know. You know what time it is. So I'm passing the mic to you. You can tell them, where to find you. When the Blemished Beauty coming back? Jesus Christ. All those good things about yourself, and give a lasting message for those mothers out there that might feel like they're failing. So I'm gonna do the countdown, and everything is on you when we come back. All right.
What's up, everybody? First, I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting Breaking the Silence. Because without you, none of this would be possible. None of it. See, Breaking the Silence started off with my voice. Me coming out of my shell. Me finding me. And doing something I should have done a long time ago. But then as time went by, I was like, you know what? There's some amazing people out here doing amazing things that I want to shine the light on. So that's why you are here. So thank you so much for being a part of Breaking the Silence and continuing to break the silence with me. But now I gotta ask you to do me a favor. Real quick. Can you share this episode with somebody that resonates with, and make sure you do two more things. Subscribe and turn your notifications on so you don't miss another episode. So let's get back into this episode.
Hey y'all, this is your favorite Jersey girl, Shera Renee, and as Nikki said earlier, I am no stranger to breaking the silence, so you'll probably see me several times after this. But you guys can follow me, Shera Renee, on Facebook, Shera Renee 510 on TikTok, Shera Renee 510 on YouTube. And as far as the Blemished Beauty podcast, listen, the podcast is God led, it's spirit led. I don't just pump out episodes just because the season's over and I need to do episodes. So currently, I am baking a baby. And once I get in a rhythm of juggling him and a 6-year-old, I definitely will be back because I know that is my ministry. I know that's where God has led me to be a blessing to other people. And if you follow me on those previous accounts, you'll find out before anybody else when the Blemished Beauty will be back. Now, to my mothers, every day we feel like we can always do something better. We're the toughest critics on ourselves, but just be mindful that God has given you these children for a reason. You are the person that is supposed to steward over them. So God has entrusted you to do so. And there is something inside of you that they need to help them maneuver and get through this life. So on those days where you feel like you're not doing enough or whatever the case may be, just remember God has called you, as I say on the Blemished Beauty podcast, for a time such as this. You have purpose in this world and you have been gifted to do great and amazing things. So until I come back next time, you guys, later.
Y'all heard until she come back next time, right? It's recorded.
Okay.
I got it, y'all. But thanks, sis, for always coming to support me and breaking your silence in some type of way. Y'all, she got stories for days she ain't told yet. So trust me, she coming back to give another exclusive soon. But what a way to close out this year, right? With her story. So we're gonna open up next year with another story. Yeah, I'm gonna hold it to it, but we ain't gonna open it because 9 out of 10 times she gonna take a strong, hard break like I am for about 6 months at least. Need some rest, y'all. Dude, that's the truth. I'm learning. Going into year 2, I'm learning.
She finally getting sleep, y'all. So she learning. She is. Mm-hmm. Gotta have a way to break you down. Gotta have a way to break you down, Sean. God is doing his big one. You hear me? Prayer works. Prayer of the righteous availeth much. Okay.
Don't do that. Yeah, God did it this time, y'all. He did it, but that's all right. That's all right. We here though. We here. Progress is being made. But thank y'all out there for tuning in to another amazing episode. This time with my sis. Share her story. And there will be, I'm sure, more stories to tell. Like I said, she gonna break us silence again. So I hope that you will continue to break the silence for me. And I hope that you have enjoyed today's conversation and it reminded you that your voice matters and your story can inspire others. So don't forget to subscribe, like this episode, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Keep speaking your truth, embracing your journey, and breaking the silence because the world needs who? You and your story. So until next time, stay focused and remember that you got this. Later.
Better days, slowly but surely it's a better space that'll raise my mind, so I meditate till I levitate, I elevate when I learn not to hesitate no more, keep moving forward, chase my goals and focus more towards it, hate the lows but I need those to flourish, place my goals in front, that's what's important. So I ask myself what inspires me, breaking out of my shell, feeling yo shot quiet me, and now I'm breaking the silence like I'm nicking the cold, let's go. Promise you gon' see better days. Gotta keep going till you see them. Promise you gon' see better days. You gotta keep going till you see them.